right, so welcome everybody. Welcome to our June deep dive webinar on quality supplements are good for business. So we're going to let people trickle in over the next minute. So as the attendees are coming into the webinar, if you could please let us know in the chat where in the world you are joining us from. And we'll get started very shortly. All right, so let's dive in. So for those of you that may be new to Practice Better, I know a lot of you are already on Practice Better, but if you're new to Practice Better, real quick, I just want to give you an intro. I'm Shelley Myers, business success coach at Practice Better. Practice Better is an all-in-one practice management and electronic health record platform. It offers everything that you need to scale your work, revenue, and impact through tools from scheduling, billing, forms and note templates, telehealth, clinical protocols, and also programs, courses, and memberships. So it automates your admin tasks while delivering an experience that your clients will love. It also provides robust tools and automations that will allow you to scale your practice through diversifying your income and scaling beyond those one-to-one consultations. And lastly, it supports you in offering better client engagement and support, accountability, outcomes, and workflows. And we also offer a very robust integration with Fullscript. So adding Fullscript's virtual supplement store to your practice can improve adherence rates, profit margins, and the well-being of your patients. Integrating your Practice Better platform with Fullscript can be done in just a few simple steps, and it allows you to easily integrate the Fullscript supplements into Practice Better protocols and then personalize those recommendations for each client right in Practice Better. So in just a few clicks, you can pull over supplement protocols that you might already have in Fullscript into Practice Better and then integrate those supplements into your food and your lifestyle recommendations to create a comprehensive protocol for your client that they can access directly in Practice Better. So you are in for a real treat today. We have Dr. Jeff Glad, who's the Chief Medical Officer at Fullscript. He's been there since 2019, and Dr. Glad advises on company and product direction with the perspective of integrative and family medicine. He graduated from Indiana University School of Medicine in 2001, and after successfully opening a family practice, he shifted his focus towards health promoting care by completing the University of Arizona Integrative Medicine Fellowship Program under the direction of Dr. Andrew Weil in 2009, and opened the Parkview Health Center for Integrative Medicine. In 2010, Dr. Glad opened Glad MD Integrative Medicine, blending health promoting care with high access technology. In 2011, he created and launched the web's first nutrition depletion calculator, Mitaven.com. With the success of GladMD and Mitaven, Dr. Glad has become a sought-after speaker in his field, speaking at TEDx and being featured in various industry publications. So I'm so excited that Dr. Glad is here, and you're going to learn so much from him. So this is what you're going to learn from Dr. Glad today: the key considerations for supplement purity and potency through the best sourcing, manufacturing, testing, and distribution of products, how quality supplements benefit your patients, clients, and your bottom line, and how to effectively speak to your clients about supplement quality. Now, we're also going to have a part 2. So since we can't fit all of this in today's webinar, I'm going to be recording a demonstration in Practice Better of the Fullscript integration, and I'm going to highlight several of the features that Dr. Glad is covering in today's presentation. So stay tuned for that email video from us at Practice Better. So just a couple more details. There will be time at the end for questions for Dr. Glad. Please submit your questions in the Q&A box. I am going to turn off the chat feature during the webinar because I want you to focus on this amazing presentation and not get too distracted with the chat. This webinar will be recorded. That's always one of the most popular questions. It'll be recorded and you'll receive a replay email with the recording and several resources that were discussed in today's webinar. And then you'll also, after that, receive the part 2 email with my demonstration. So with that, let's dive in. Welcome, Dr. Glad.
Thank you. Shelley, you forgot to mention the most important part. I mean, you were part of my bio. I mean, we met back in the early days.
Oh, I know.
Opening my practice and got to connect that way and have stayed connected ever since.
Yeah, that was amazing.
All right, so let's talk about quality supplements being good for business. And obviously, that's something that we want to be talking about, how this works into your business model, how this supports your practice, but also how it impacts patient health, right? Choosing high quality supplements and getting your patients to adhere to their treatment plans that you're recommending are good for their health. And that's ultimately great for your business because they're telling friends and they're telling family, and now your practice is growing, all because of the quality care that you're delivering. So from an overview perspective on today's talk, we'll talk a little bit about Fullscript in general, and then we'll focus on the 3 top reasons to consider Fullscript. So accessing clinically effective, really important topic, high quality supplements, using our world-class prescribing tool along with the clinical resources that our IMAT team has built to support your practice and your education, and some of the practice management support that's there. Now, again, the beautiful thing is we're talking about the integration inside of Practice Better. One of the real passions at Fullscript is how do we work better in the practitioner's workflow? How do we make it easy to do these things? And so the integration goes without saying that now you can do all of this in one window inside of your Practice Better platform. I won't spend too much time here because I think Shelley did an amazing job of doing a bit of my background. But started very personally for me. This is me with my nearly 20-year-old son, 50 pounds heavier, taking antidepressant, anti-panic attack medications out of the drug rep closet to treat medical issues that I had kind of went down this road of personal transformation using nutrition and exercise exclusively, and then realized that I can't practice the same way that I was trained, given the success that I had with tools that I wasn't taught. So as Shelley mentioned, went to the University of Arizona Center for Integrative Medicine for training, launched an integrative practice inside of the local hospital system, quickly realized that that wasn't the way I wanted to practice, what was inside of that restricted model. And based on patient demand, realized that I could do this myself. And so now we're 13 years in at GladMD, running a practice that's completely outside of insurance, spending lots of time with patients. We have another physician, 2 nurse practitioners, a health coach, a dietitian, all delivering this fantastic integrative care that you all are a part of. Shelley mentioned Midavin, which is actually now a Fullscript tool, able to put in the medications your patients may be taking, highlighting the nutrients that might be being depleted actively, giving you a really great starting point for making supplement recommendations to your patients, and getting them to understand why they might need these supplements and why they're high priorities. And then that opens the door to having a quality conversation, which we'll talk about. So Fullscript is a completely free platform to the practitioner. It allows you to prescribe, dispense, and manage healthcare's best supplements. And we'll talk about why we call them healthcare's best supplements. We spend a lot of time and effort to keep that catalog curated and full of high quality products that you can recommend to your patient. You can do this directly in the office. You can do this virtually. Most of the most successful practitioners are doing some combination of both, particularly with acute need products if you do have an in-person clinic. But most practices, the bulk of their successful prescribing is happening through the Fullscript platform, which we call direct to patient. where now you can utilize the virtual dispensary for, as many different products and different variations of products that you need to individualize your care for your patient. And ultimately, then the platform is designed for you to grow your practice, continue to inspire better client engagement, and based on that success, see a lot more patients over time and increase your demand. Here's a couple screenshots of the platform. So the left side would be the provider experience. The right side would be the client experience. And so you can see how easy it is to create a new account, which with inside of an EHR integration with Practice Better is even more seamless. But within this, you can research ingredients, you can research protocols, you can research the science behind these things and attach that to the, for the patient's understanding and learning. You've got the ability to prescribe personalized wellness protocols to all your patients. And that personalization is your personalization. Which products do you like? Which ingredients do you like? How often do you like them to take them? But it's also personalized to the patient. On the patient side, they're able to sign up on any device. They receive the e-prescription, they can check out in one click. And you now have the ability to choose auto ship, which is a very powerful tool for recurring revenue for your practice, but also keeping your patient on the high quality supplement regimen that you have prescribed for them. And so this is a really smart tool where, based on you recommending how often they should take and how many they should take, we're able to calculate based on what's in that bottle what the auto ship schedule should be. And the patient can set that for each of their products, because not everything is going to end at the end of every month. Some bottles are going to last 60 days, some bottles are going to last 75 days or longer. So we now have that smart calculation built into the system, and incredibly excited to launch our mobile app. So this is one of those things that, realizing how patients are using Fullscript, 60% of patients, over 60% of patients use Fullscript on a mobile device. And so why wouldn't we have an upgraded experience for them? And so now getting your patients to download the Fullscript app gives them all the details on your plan and dosage instruction, really easy refilling, including the auto ship technology that we talked about, notifications for refilling and renewing. So again, we're really focused on the adherence of your patients to their journey, to the journey that you've prescribed. And so now we have a better ability to message that to the patient, interact to the patient. We already have 27,000 clients using the app just in the first month of release. So lots more information if you desire, but certainly this is something that you should be pointing your patients toward. I get a lot of questions about, how do I increase the engagement of my patient with Fullscript, because that's where I want to do my treatment planning. And getting them to understand what Fullscript is and the role that it plays in your practice is critical. And so one of the ways to start is having them download this mobile app, maybe even before they come in, giving them the introduction that, hey, we're going to use this for treatment planning for the highest quality supplements so that you can get your health goals. So let's talk about the quality side of the Fullscript catalog. And so some of those key considerations are purity and potency. And that involves trust. And so the practitioner has to trust several steps of this process: the source of the ingredients going into that bottle, the manufacturer of putting these products together, putting them into tablets or bottles, the finished product, and does it meet the evidence specifications that we're trying to achieve with our patients? Is what's on the label in the capsule or the tablet? And then it's distributor standards. These are major issues, and we'll show you some of the headlines around how this goes wrong with other distributors and why Fullscript takes great pride in being a high quality distributor. So some of the pieces that you're looking for, I've already mentioned, but it's vetting for the common contaminants. And we'll talk about that in the way that I talk to my patients as they bring in their supplement bottles in that first visit. Accurate sourcing, identification, validation, labeling of allergens, right? We're talking to patients a lot about food sensitivity or allergies or certain things that they may be eating that are creating problems for them. We do not want to be supplementing them with the things that may be causing some of these concerns. So this is really critical to make sure the accuracy is there, and also make sure that you're able to search and filter out supplements that are going to fit the needs of that patient. Excipient ingredients are a big problem. It keeps a lot of products that come to Fullscript to be in the catalog out of our catalog. It's an immediate cancellation of, listen, we just can't have this product in our catalog because of some of the excipients. And so we have brands that we work with, and we give them the list of things that are flagged in their products. You need to work on these, you need to reformulate. And so this is why we're so proud to have healthcare's best supplements. There may be ethical implications around the supplement production, around how some of these things are produced. Third-party certifications are huge, so we'll touch on that. Relevant scientific evidence supporting clinically effective potency. And again, this is a big talking point to patients that does not have to be complicated. And I'll walk you through how I do that here in a little bit. And then, again, every step is transparent. Every step, may be checked out by a certificate of authenticity that we keep documentation of to make sure that what we're sending out is of high quality. So I mentioned some of the headlines and some of the concerns. Unfortunately, too many practitioners think that all supplements are created equal and send patients out to go find supplements that they're recommending. That is not likely to get the patient clinical success that both of you are hoping for, practitioner and patient. And then patients think that same thing. They think all supplements are created equal. So we've got to use this education. We've got to use this messaging to let patients know this is not the best place to source your supplements. You want to make sure that you're taking a high quality product as if this is a pharmaceutical. Here's a recent study from JAMA. So this is an audit of 30 immune health products sold on Amazon. More than half of them with inaccurate labels. Almost half of them completely misbranded. And 9 out of 30 products had additional ingredients that are not on the label. But the most concerning example of that is DGL licorice, right? Deglycerized licorice contained glycyrrhizin. In particular with patients with blood pressure concerns, the reason you're recommending a DGL product is because the glycyrrhizin it can be a stimulant. It can elevate blood pressure. And so to blindly make these recommendations to go to Amazon or for the patient to just go search there can be a very dangerous exercise. So we want to focus our patients' attention on where quality comes from and how to get that. So again, I mentioned these 4 steps. This is trusting in the process of producing this supplement and getting it to the doorsteps of your patients. We'll talk a little bit about each of those steps. On the sourcing side, the optimal safety and efficacy relies on accurate sourcing, identification, validation, and processing. And so these are the things when we work with brands. Are you meeting these standards? We have a quality program that really digs deep with these brands to make sure you're achieving all of these goals so that what we put in the catalog is going to be exactly what's on the bottle and is going to have the most effectiveness for your patients. On the manufacturing side, we work with brands that follow CGMP practices, and we want them to have quality assurance programs. They want to be looking for heavy metals, microbial contaminants, pesticides, herbicides, pharmaceuticals. We want proof that you're testing that along each step of the way. A couple really critical examples of common supplements we're recommending every day. Let's take probiotics and omega-3s. So on the probiotic side, we have major quality concerns. These are live bugs that are supposed to be living in our digestive tract. We want to be making sure that they have the right species, they have the right strains. They have made sure and tested for pathogenic bacteria. They make sure they don't have non-viable strains. And so it requires the things in the right column here, which is bacterial identification, finished product potency, strain-specific viability. We're seeing probiotic studies where they're finding, fragments of antibiotic resistance. That is not something we want to be giving to our patients. So we want to work with very high quality brands here. On omega-3s, you have lots of concerns around excessive levels of PCBs, heavy metals, and contaminations, kind of related to some of those concerns. Potency of EPA and DHA is huge. Again, we're going to talk about this when I show you how I walk my patients through quality. So you want to work with companies that are doing this testing, that have the potency testing, that have the contamination levels being tested, and usually have a third party involved in that process. So we're not just trusting what the brand is telling us. And that's why testing and third parties are critical. So realize the FDA does require companies to do identity testing. These standards can be chosen and developed by the companies themselves. There's no obligation to publicize those standards. That's a big, big level of trust that, given some of these concerns, I don't have. in any of these brands. So it's why I trust in third parties. So you see a big list, a lot of the popular third parties. I'm a big proponent of the NSF certification. It's probably the highest bar. It's the one I trust most. Every Fullscript distribution center is NSF certified. So not just happening, again, where they're making the product, but where we're storing the product. Did it sit on a truck for too long? Did it get exposed to heat? That doesn't happen in the Fullscript DCs. Everything is controlled the way the products are supposed to be controlled. So probiotics that need to be refrigerated, they're refrigerated in the Fullscript DCs. They're sent on ice to your patients. The quality is maintained. And that's our side. So, we're focused on the packaging, reading the labels and checking those out and making sure that it's everything that it should be in that product. Storing these things properly, I mentioned, transportation, documentation, right? These are all the pieces that we're taking very, very close care to make sure that your patients are getting the best quality that you want them to be on. So that's what quality means to the practitioner. Quite frankly, it means that to the patient too. That's a lot of work if a practitioner is going to go doing that digging and vetting out these companies. It's why so many practitioners and hospital systems trust the Fullscript catalog, because we're able to show you how we're doing this and maintaining this as time goes. From the client perspective, we've done a survey of our patients. Here's what they care about: ingredient testing, mindful sourcing, finished product for purity, active ingredients, not copycat ingredients, CGMP. They want products that are clinically effective. This is a really big talking point when you walk your patients through why you're using Fullscript, why you think they should be on quality. We want the most clinically effective products. And so 75% of Fullscript users say they would pay more for a supplement of higher potency and clinical efficacy. So it's our job to educate them that this is why we're using Fullscript. And so that is also one of the top benefits, the number one benefit of patients in using Fullscript, is because they can rest assured that the quality and efficacy they're getting is the best. So when I see my this is kind of the education side of getting my patients to understand why Fullscript. And so form matters and dose matters. On the form side, clearly certain forms of supplements are essential for the best clinical outcomes. And there's many things that get added to a supplement that can impact its effectiveness or add side effects. If you ask any of your patients, they're tuned into this. They don't want to take products that have contaminants or dyes or fillers. Yet when they bring their products into the office, or if I'm doing a virtual visit and they're showing me screenshots or pictures, or we're going online to look at the product they're taking, they don't realize how much of those things they're actually swallowing every day from their supplement bottles. They don't know how to read them. And so I go through this exercise with every single patient and get them to fully understand what they're currently taking. Let's take the most common multivitamin out there. This is the one most of my patients are coming in with. It looks great. If we go to the supplement facts, because it's exactly what I'm doing, I'm handling the bottle, I'm showing them, okay, it's got all the vitamins you need in a multivitamin. Does it have the right forms to optimize efficacy? And I tell them I have 3 screening tests: the calcium form, the magnesium form, and the vitamin E form. And so if we look at that, you got to go to the ingredients, because this does not tell us the real story. This does. And so if we go and say, okay, well, what form of calcium you're taking? Because I really want you to take an absorbable form of calcium to get the benefits you want. Calcium carbonate on this product, strike 1, may cause more adverse events than calcium citrate. Okay, it is much more poorly absorbed. It creates potential digestive symptoms. And so this is strike 1 on this bottle that you're taking. Magnesium. Magnesium oxide is the poorest absorbed form of magnesium. Now we've got strike 2. Magnesium oxide may lead to side effects like diarrhea. Research suggests the absorption rate is even lower in humans compared to only absorbing 15% in this rat study. So you're probably getting 5 to 10% at best. I guess if you're fully focused on only treating constipation, maybe magnesium oxide, and truly, is the right product. But that's not the kind of effect we want to be creating. Most people are taking magnesium to actually get it to the muscles, get it to the cells. This is not going to do it for you. Strike 3 is the form of vitamin E. I'm looking at least for D alpha tocopherol. Quite frankly, I prefer mixed tocopherols, But if we're just going to focus on D alpha, we do not want DL alpha, because we know that the key difference is DL is synthetic and it does not absorb, it is not active as just plain D alpha tocopherol. So we've got strike 3, and then we've got strike 4, right? I'm a baseball guy, so there's no such thing as strike 4, but this is a big strike 4 here, which is all the excipient ingredients in this product, all with potential irritation, whether it's a sensitivity or, quite frankly, just a direct toxicity. So you've got BHT, you got cornstarch, you got polyethylene glycol, polyvinyl alcohol, talc. And I always point out dyes, because there is a very big concern about the testing and the potential for carcinogenicity, genotoxicity, hypersensitivity. And if you look at this study, coupled with the fact that dyes do not improve the safety or the nutritional quality of foods, indicates that all of the currently used dyes should be removed from the food supply. This is what you're taking in the form of a supplement. And so immediately my patients' eyes are opened up. They understand, I haven't been taking a quality product. I've been hoping for a multivitamin to support my health. Now you've just taught me that this is not doing the trick. It may actually be working against me. Next question, hey doc, what multivitamin do you recommend? And that's immediately where we start talking about, okay, well, let's go find a high quality multivitamin in the Fullscript catalog, showing them, look, it's magnesium glycinate, it's calcium citrate, it's D alpha tocopherol. And now they get it, and they're fully on board with having a high quality product. Dose is the same way. Certain doses of supplements essential for the best clinical outcomes. Most of the products your patients are sourcing aren't going to meet that standard for a couple reasons. First, they want to keep the cost down. They want this to be cheap. They want patients grabbing the inexpensive bottle. And then the other reason is you see a lot of products that put a lot of ingredients in there. So the box looks really fancy. They can tell the story of it's got the 10 most potent antioxidants, but unfortunately you have a limited volume in that capsule or tablet. You can't get clinically effective dosing when you do things like that. So I use the example of fish oil when I talk to my patients about this. And so here's just a study that kind of represents, from a dosing perspective, I typically recommend my patients get 3,000 milligrams of EPA plus DHA total daily, right? Those are the two most potent omega-3 fatty acids. And this is the dose, whether it's depression or mood concerns, whether it's cardiovascular benefit, that's usually where we're going. And so for this example, let's use that 3,000 milligram dose. And so I pull out of their bag, well, here's the fish oil you're taking. The front of the label looks really good, 1,200 milligrams. Now, most patients would look at that and say, okay, doc said 3,000, I'm gonna take 3 of these and be good. Gotta look at the supplement facts label. In this product, it doesn't even tell you an amount for EPA and DHA. So this is a huge aha for your patients in terms of quality. That's not to mention, do we know if it's tested for heavy metals? Do we know if PCBs are there? Do we know if this is handled properly and not rancid? We don't, but just strictly on dose, this is not a good product for you. Here's a slightly better product and another very popular fish oil. Again, 1,200 milligrams on the front of the label. But if you look at the EPA and DHA amounts, you first have to say, okay, well, what's the serving size? 2 soft gels. In these 2 soft gels is 600 milligrams of EPA plus DHA. You got to take 10. That gets you your 3,000. Your bottle only has 100. This is a 10-day product for you. Again, not to mention the quality pieces that I would walk them through as well. How do I get 3,000 milligrams, doc? Well, we need a higher quality fish oil. This is my favorite one. This is a liquid fish oil. So I take this one. It's lemon flavored oil. 1 teaspoon gives you 3,000 milligrams. An easy way to get that dose. Now, some of you don't like oil, fine. Some of you, might forget this in the fridge. Some of you travel a lot. Then we've got to find a capsule that's going to fit the bill, right? So here's a product with 1,000 milligrams per capsule, EPA and DHA. Now you're taking 3 capsules a day, right? So this is where you start talking also about cost, because you're going to cost and inconvenience of buying a bottle every 10 days is going to wind up adding up, and you're not getting near the quality that you could get from products like this. So these are my biggest 2 ahas. I've done this for 15 years. Patients get quality when you walk them through the products they're taking in this lens. What does supplement quality mean to Fullscript? I mean, I've alluded to this a number of times already, but to give you some more specifics, I mean, we are focused on quality and affordability. So we're talking about ingredient purity. We're talking about clinically effective potency. We're talking about fair pricing. And so this is where, patients understand paying a little bit more for quality is something that they should expect. But that doesn't mean you can't get better pricing within the Fullscript platform. So I know I offer all of my patients a 10% discount on their Fullscript account because I can feel really confident in saying you're going to get this the least expensive way through Fullscript than going out into the market and look for a product that is of the same quality and from the manufacturer, right? This is the big sort of Amazon secret, right? A lot of these brands are on Amazon. But you have to point your patients toward, if you're going to use Amazon, you have to buy it from the manufacturer through Amazon. And that's the commitment to the practitioners by these brands, is they will only sell at retail pricing or retail plus pricing. So if not discounting their Fullscript account, Fullscript is the least expensive way to get the highest quality products. And that's a story that I tell my patients very, very often. In terms of the catalog, this is where a lot of that quality influences how you search for products. Certain patients want liquids or they want a lozenge. They don't want to swallow a bunch of things. Okay, I can search by liquid. I can search by lozenge. We talked about how important allergens are. Search for those based on the patient and what they need to be keeping out of their diet. Let's make sure their products aren't going to, are going to fit in line with their restriction needs. And then the certification search. So as I mentioned, I use NSF a lot. I have patients who are vegan. They want to take products that match their lifestyle. Then that would be a certification that I'm searching for as well. You can also search out, specific ingredients and make sure you're finding those products that you feel most comfortable prescribing. I talked a lot about the practical ways of speaking to your clients about supplement quality. We have plenty of resources to support that story for you. So here's a beautiful PDF handout that would walk your patients through the story we just talked about. I would share this to patients. I would share it early, probably before their first visit, getting them understanding, okay, Fullscript is the place where the products are going to be most high quality for me and most beneficial. So what are the benefits of prescribing high quality products using the Fullscript platform? So we've got improved safety because of these high quality supplements. We've got better health outcomes because we're able to use products that are consistent with the clinical validation. And we've got increased revenue, right? Even at a 10% discount, and you may choose not to do that, perfectly fine, but this is going to support your practice and support your patient's health at the same time. And so again, we've built a platform with the quality, but also the tools to let your patients know, hey, this is how we take, this is where you can get your supplements conveniently. This is where you can keep on your plan. You don't have to run out to the store. You don't have to settle for lesser quality, build auto ship. I think the most important thing as a practitioner is to fill out the instructions, right? We've got drop-down menus. It's really, really quick. We've found that the most powerful tool for the practitioner is to set duration expectations for your patient. And we've called that out now in the treatment planning platform. So if you plan on them being on this long-term, let's use our two examples, multivitamins and fish oil, that duration is ongoing, right? So I know when I set that ongoing duration, my patient now understands that they're more likely to choose auto ship, which keeps them on the high quality plan and keeps your recurring revenue going in your supplement sales. So other world-class prescribing tools and resources that Fullscript has provided. So incredibly busy slide, the top right one, you don't have to worry about. You already have a Fullscript integration in your Practice Better tool. You're good there. But we've got 40 different protocols focused on conditions that you can use with your patients. You can customize those. If you don't like the products that our IMAT team has chosen, choose your own products in that protocol. Save it as your protocol. You can send that out to all of your patients. So I do that a lot. We've got, allergy season in the spring. We've got back to school immune boosting protocols. I'm pushing those out to all my clientele, letting them know here's the high quality protocols that you should be focused on based on the time of year. Lots of educational resources, all evidence-based, all written professionally, all beautifully designed. So your patients kind of understand the education you're providing. You can also put your own resources in there if you've written those. We talked about the nutrient depletions tooling. So that's the bottom right. You can see Midavin, with the evidence scoring. This is another great tool, as I mentioned, for getting your patients to understand their potential nutrient needs. And I'll skip the integrations part because, again, we're already there. Clinical and practice management support. Again, we've got you from that perspective too. So we've got the ability to have in-clinic inventory if you have a model that supports that. The virtual, again, is the most powerful tool we've got, or some hybrid version of that. Got the ability to adjust margins. If patients need a deeper discount because their budget just isn't going to be able to get them quality products, you might consider an individual discount for that patient's account. We've got the ability to use HSA and FSA funds, right? So the IRS dictates that those funds need to be for medically necessary products. Most of the time, the products you're recommending are because they are medically necessary. And so your patients then can use tax-free dollars to make those purchases inside of the Fullscript platform. We've got Fullscript coordinated promotions. We've got marketing toolkits. The promotions are huge for my patient population. They're waiting for them. They're pinging me in the spring. Hey, when's the spring sale? Make sure Cyber Monday is coming. All these things are there, and an award-winning customer support team that is armed to help you and your practice and your patients. So some of the adherence tools, again, I mentioned them along the way, the refill reminders, auto ship, keep your patients on track without having to think about it, without having to go back into the platform. We've got tracking sheets and questionnaires to enhance your practice, have your patients seeing this is working. You know, you've got a stool tracker. Patients are looking back saying, okay, I think I'm better. And then when they look at that tracker and they look back 3 months ago to see how significant their bowel problems were and how much better they are today, that helps them stick to their plan, helps them stick to your plan. Again, I mentioned the resource library with all of the educational tools available to attach to your treatment plans as well. So additional learning and resources for you. Again, some of these we mentioned, just showing you how beautifully designed these are, how easy they are for your patients to read and understand and to use. Health empowerment questionnaires, goal setting workouts, meal planners, mentioned the stool tracker and how important that is. And then all the educational resources. Here we've tied some of the GI related things. We have lots of other condition focused resources, but use these. Again, they've been authored so well, written so easily for patients to understand. I'm using these in all my treatment plans to support what I'm talking to my patients about. We got resources for you. So we talked about the Mitamin calculator. Here's a resource to understand more and dig deeper into drug nutrient depletions, understanding pharmaceutical interactions. You know, patients are on medications. Let's make sure that what we're prescribing for them fits and doesn't create a safety concern. It actually supports what we want to accomplish from a health perspective. And we've got Fullscript Academy. So encourage you to go to Fullscript Academy, dig in for educational content. Much of it is free. Learn more about this journey of integrative health, educate up your skills. We've got partners here, like, some of the brand partners, some of the educational partners. Some of this is CME and would link out, that would be not free. But again, great tools, a great resource to help increase your education in integrative medicine. So that's all we've got. Shelley, I will close out because I know we've got a Q&A. I'm sure we have a long list of questions that I'm excited to answer, but it was a pleasure to be here to present this and look forward to more.
Thank you, Dr. Glad. That was amazing, so informative. And we do have a few questions that came in, but at this point, feel free to add any questions into either the chat. I did turn the chat back on, or into the Q&A. So first question from Jess, if we are non-licensed nutritionists and a wellness mentor, can we get Dr. Glad to approve protocols for our clients?
Can I approve? Well, I think it's less about me approving the protocol as much as I would suggest you look already at the protocols that are built in the platform already. I mean, they have been built with a lot of scientific rigor, a lot of evidence behind them. And many of them have, sort of connected links to that evidence. So I would say, certainly you could build off of those, sort of take the core ingredients if there's different brands you prefer to use, or some of you may be restricted to use only certain products. Anything in that catalog would switch out. I would just be careful to kind of make sure the ingredients and the forms are similar, right? Because again, you want the same trusted clinical effect as what the IMAT team has built.
All right. So is there a certification that one can take to become a non-licensed supplement specialist? That was also from Jess.
Yeah, interesting. So, I would, off the top of my head, some of those certifications would be through some of the health coaching academies and schools. And so I certainly would look there for maybe a more formal certification. And certainly our customer service team could help guide you towards some of the schools that are, easily allowed to sort of have the majority of the catalog available to them. I would say if you have a core foundation of knowledge, if it's that nutrition background, I would go to Fullscript Academy. I would take advantage of all of that free content that our team has built and start the Supplement 101 journey and just get really familiar with some core products beyond, where you're comfortable today and build from there. Again, everything that's going to be taught there is evidence-based. It's going to give you a lot of confidence. While not a formal certification, again, I think you take where you're coming from an educational perspective and build off of that with the tools we have and maybe seek out some of those health coaching academies or other nutritional programs that are educating people very, very soundly.
All right, so thank you. So how is Fullscript assuring that brands are following the current good manufacturing processes, and how often are you auditing these brands?
Yeah, so a lot of that came over from the Emerson acquisition last year. So we still maintain the Emerson Quality Program, the EQP, and those are those brands that really raised their hands and said, we're willing to go through your rigorous quality program. And so with Fullscript, you'd also have an account with Emerson. That quality program only lives on Emerson today. We're still sort of trying to reimagine what that would look like, but those are the ones where we're doing some of the testing, we're double checking their third parties, we're making sure all of that is completely vetted. So if you want the highest of quality bars, I'd use that Emerson quality program and the badging there and ratings and choose those brands that have met those specifications.
All right, so all products on Fullscript are all the products on Fullscript third-party tested?
Yeah, and so if we have brands that come to us, that's one of the first screening tests is show us that you're using a third party to make sure that those are there. There's a lot of brands that we've rejected over the years that haven't been able to meet those specifications. So we're making sure those third parties are being covered.
All right. So I am a pediatric dietitian practitioner and find there is limited content regarding that population. Is there any thought as to improving that area?
Yeah, Angela, that's a great question. We certainly are passionate about expanding beyond that core practitioner that I am, but I'm also a family doc by trade. So I see from birth, all the way to 96, 97-year-old patients that I have. So we understand that there's a growing need and certainly an interest from the pediatric population. So we're definitely looking at expanding beyond that, reaching out to some KOLs who have some expertise in there and sort of growing that. We're looking at even partnering with some hospital-based integrative pediatric practices to try to help us expand that line. But certainly, what we have today is good enough, but we do want to get better.
All right. Another question from Angela. Is there a way to get more pediatric products or any products we usually use that aren't on Fullscript added to the portfolio?
Yeah, so I see she's asking, someone to speak with there. We have an entire, supplier partner department. And as you can imagine, they have a very long queue of products that want to be in. And we're gradually starting to address that. So I would say the brands that you trust and the brands you like, I would reach out to those brands because this is usually how the journey happens. The brands come to Fullscript and say, we have a bunch of practitioners who won't use our products unless we're on Fullscript because that quality bar is so critical. So I'd have those brands reach out to us, reach out to our supplier teams, and then they're able to kind of address those checks and balances to make sure that they're a fit for the program. And I'll tell you, it's very slow bringing on new brands. And some of the things that I'm telling suppliers who reach out to me directly is, we are going to give priority to products that have what's called end product clinical validation. So not you took an ingredient in a petri dish or in a mouse study and proved that it did this, and so we put that ingredient in our bottle. No, we want the bottle to be proven in a randomized placebo-controlled trial. And that's not a lot of products, but that's a growing number. So that's a focus for us. We're very aligned with brands that want to stay in the practitioner channel only. I mean, as I mentioned, so many of these brands you're seeing, on consumer shelves, on major online retailers. So, if you've got a brand that fits those descriptions and criteria, that's certainly going to move them up the priority list for us as a supplier team.
All right, so 2 questions from Bonnie. How do we have access to the quality program so that we know the specs? And the third party, but how often are they tested and exactly what? Is there a list?
Yeah, so that should be, again, I think you should have access to Emerson and the Emerson catalog, which is a wholesale only catalog. I would still, we in our practice still order all our wholesale through Fullscript, but I would just log in to the Emerson side of the company. That's where you're going to see the quality program. You're going to see all those resources. It should have all those things listed. If not, reach out to customer service and I'll make sure, they'll make sure that the IMAT team shares that with you. So you have a really comfortable, feel. When I started back in 2010, I used the Emerson quality program religiously. So I use that badging and that search. Now, I know the brands, I'm comfortable with the brands. So I don't go back to that, but that's where I would start some of that searching.
Okay, so I spoke to USP recently via Zoom, and they said we are in a highly volatile now for source safe COVID supply chain disruption. Site statement. This is from Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna, it's true. And actually, I spoke to Taroni Lowdog, who's a good friend of mine, who's on the USP board. So this is something that we stay connected to both at the USP level, but also, in talking to our brand partners and making sure we're staying up on that. Again, for any single practitioner to do that is a tall order and probably a full-time job. So we're trying to do our best with keeping up on this, but we're definitely in tune with those concerns as well.
Okay. Just looking through the questions. Let's see. If practitioners want to provide a discount to clients, do the clients have to pay MSRP and then the practitioner reimburses them afterwards, or can those discounts be set ahead of time in Fullscript?
Yeah, so the discounting is, again, sort of based on the account that you set up. So when I introduce my patients to Fullscript in their first visit or whenever, I will start their account with an email address. I always use a cell phone number at their approval because I find the adherence is better when you use text communication. But then I let them know that I'm putting a 5 to 10% discount on their account. And so that means that every product the patient buys, whether it's coming from a treatment plan of mine or whether they go into my open catalog and search for better quality to switch out to, from products that they're getting elsewhere, they will get that discount on every product they purchase. That's not something that I have to worry about. Fullscript is discounting that MSRP inside their account. And so again, that's one less step that you have to worry about as a practitioner.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have so far. There might be a couple more that come in. Christina, we will be sending out a replay email. So since you're registered, you'll get the replay email with a link to the recording and any resources that we're going to include, and in addition, the follow-up part 2 recording that I'm creating that'll be a demonstration of using the Fullscript integration. So Jess is saying, my doctor provides me a 30% discount on supplements. How is she able to make any money off of that?
Yeah, so I mean, if you take the Fullscript margin is 35%. So she would be that practitioner would be generating a 5% margin on that supplement purchase. There's certainly lots of practitioners who don't want to make any margin on supplements. Some of that is sort of how we were raised. Certainly the AMA still sort of frowns upon that. It's just a matter of having an open conversation with your business model and your business people and you personally and your patients, and making that determination of where you want to land on discount versus supporting your business. So that practitioner obviously is heavy on the discount patients, and that's certainly something we see very commonly, and certainly something that's growing as we see more and more practitioners come from conventional practices. They just want their patients to have quality. They don't want to have anything to do with the economics or the business. They don't want to, they perceive it as a potential conflict. And so everyone kind of lands on where they feel strongly. And that's why we give the flexibility within the platform.
All right. So Angela's asking, is the app available in Canada?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I've got some other Fullscript teammates on here. Do we know if the app is available in Canada or not yet?
I'll quickly unmute and say not yet. It's coming, but not yet.
Perfect. Angela, that was always my first question. Like I assumed you were tech savvy enough to go searching in the App Store. So yeah, it'll come and you'll enjoy it because my patients that are using it are really, really happy.
All right. I think that's all the questions, unless there's anything you wanted to add, Dr. Glad.
I think we covered it, but I'm happy to be available. This was a blast. And again, I love talking about what we're building. I love talking about how we're growing and all the new things that we bring. So hopefully we can come back and give some updates in another time soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Glad. We really appreciate having you here and all the knowledge that you imparted on us today. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Shelley. Take care.
Bye.